Welcome to the Skeptic's Table. We're your hosts, Sam
and Jesse.
This is a podcast where faith, reason, and politics intersect. From a Christ-centered perspective, we tackle life's biggest questions, challenge cultural narratives, and engage with the political issues shaping our world. This is a space for a thoughtful inquiry, open dialogue, and honest wrestling with how our faith informs our views on truth, justice, and the public square. Pull up a chair and join us as we seek wisdom in a polarized world. All right. So I guess we're live. Let's go.
We're live. We're starting this out.
That is true. Now, the question is, what is this? Well, we have no idea.
Not a clue, but we do know that we have a setup now.
We do.
So we can start there.
Yeah. Got a mic. Hopefully you guys can hear us. Got some headphones, all that good stuff. So, yeah. So 2025 is happening in less than 2 days. And, you know, what's always fun at the end of the year is thinking about what is going to happen in 2025. So, you know, I asked you to come up with some predictions, and we haven't had any time really to think about those predictions. But off the cuff, do you have one that you think is going to happen next year?
Oh, off the top of my head, I would assume you're going to have another baby. No, for as far as for our country goes,
yeah.
I think there's Yeah, I'm going to pass on this one.
Okay, I'll let you think on this because I've got one.
Okay, let's hear it.
One that, you know, and we kind of, no, I don't think we talked about it. Maybe we talked about it a little bit. So let's just do a quick backstory before I even get there. So we were talking about a month ago, right? This was about a month ago. Had no plan whatsoever to do a podcast.
Okay, yeah.
And, you know, we're sitting there, and so you come over to my house, and we are talking, no joke, for about 4 hours.
Right around, yeah.
About 4 hours. And as we were, well, you actually had to leave because you had to go home. It was getting late, and I don't know if you were getting in trouble or not from the kids. Not the wife, the kids. You got to watch those kids.
Yeah, I promise if anybody was going to get onto me, it was going to be the kids.
Yeah, for sure. But we realized how fun that was and just had a good time. I actually kind of felt energized afterwards, which is kind of weird because I'm not really a talker when it comes to, you know, my wife will tell you this all the time, that I don't talk to her enough. Don't express myself.
And behind your back, she will say she's very grateful for that.
That is true. I am sure of that for sure. So yeah, we you know, maybe a month and a half later, here we are. We decided, why not? Let's create a podcast. May not get no listeners. Who knows? Maybe there's one or two. Maybe there's more. Maybe this thing will catch on. Who knows? But regardless, we're just going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about, you know, it could be about politics. It could be about religion. Anything, really. Anything that interests us, we're going to talk about.
The door is pretty wide open. And when we started that conversation about a month ago, it's kind of what happened. We went down a rabbit hole. We went through family policy, politics in general. We went down a spirituality road.
Yep.
We went at financial stuff. I mean, we went pretty much everywhere you could go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sam's right. I'm not much of a talker either.
No.
And typically that 4-hour conversation would be something that I think both of us would fit into 6 months.
Yeah,
so
for
it was
sure.
pretty impressive for us to get through that much. So we're going to try to do this without a bunch of breaks.
Yeah, we'll try in theory.
And try to keep y'all entertained. And if not, then we'll be entertained. So, oh well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And our wives will be dramatically entertained because they absolutely love to hear our voices.
They do. That is probably the only true thing said today is how much our wives love hearing us
They
talk.
love to hear us talk. So, yeah. And yeah, to fast forward now, here we are. We are recording our first podcast. Have no idea what the hell we're doing, but we're gonna have fun. So I hope you guys enjoy listening to us. So, anyways, my first prediction of 2025. It's a real doozy, and I think you may think I'm a little well. No, you already think I'm crazy, so that is pointless for me to say. But and here I go again. Changing subjects real quick, but I just realized you said my first name and I didn't tell you guys what my name was. My name's Sam. And what is your name?
Jesse.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. Now you know our names, our first names. What is our last names? We don't know. Or do we? Who knows? Anyways, my first prediction for 2025, and it's kind of based off the whole drones going on in New Jersey.
All right. Straight into the UAPs. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, I think there's going to be some. No, this is a big one, and I just touched your hand.
Girl.
And the likelihood of this happening is very slim, but I think we're going to get to a point of disclosure that we have been visited by extraterrestrial beings, not from this earth, by the end of this upcoming. And I think it's probably going to happen within the next month or two.
So you're saying that they're actually going to come out and say,
yes,
publicly that we've been visited by.
Yeah. I've been reading some theories here and there, and they got some doozies out there, some interesting ones, and you can really get off track just going down these different rabbit holes. But I think they definitely are gonna. I don't think they have a choice to disclose. I think if these drones now, I think the drones. One of the theories I read on, and I find it really interesting, and it makes sense if this is extraterrestrial life. I think some of these drones are ours, and I think it's a way to cover up for. Have you seen these orbs?
Oh, the orbs are insane.
They're insane.
And I agree with you on the drone side of it. 100% man-made. Mm-hmm. None of those drones are extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
they're all man-made. Don't know whose they are. Some of them are ours.
Yeah.
Could be other countries, whatever. The orbs, there's no way that's man-made.
No.
But I disagree on them being extraterrestrial. I think they're more spiritual.
Okay. Could be.
And who knows? We'll probably never find out the truth on that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And if we do, it'll probably be the end of times.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's my fun one. That's my fun prediction for 2025 is that there's going to be disclosure by the end of this year. But I think it's going to happen probably within the next couple months. Now, the odds of this happening are probably, they're really slim. So hopefully that prediction doesn't ruin the very little credibility that I do have. So that's my fun 2025 prediction. You have a fun one? Or just any?
Yeah, I really wish I would have put more thought into this before we started recording. I had a couple of hours notice on that, and then we focused on this.
Okay, so what about let's go to a specific genre then. How do you think the Musk-Trump relationship is going to play out in 2025? Because I'm a little nervous about that.
Their relationship just for 2025, I think, is going to be fantastic.
Okay.
I think they're going to be buddies. And even if they're not, they're going to portray that they are.
Yeah.
I do see that relationship deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's going to happen until we get a lot closer to that 2026 deadline for Doge.
Yeah.
I have a feeling for all of 2025 is going to be good, and probably somewhere in March or April of 2026, you're going to see them going at each other's throat. Elon saying, well, Trump didn't help us here. Trump saying, well, Elon didn't do his job that he promised. He needs to go back to X.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
No, no.
whatever. And I think Vivek being involved on that is probably going to hurt his political career.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he is gonna. I don't know if he'll run for president in 2028.
If the Trump Vance presidency does well, I don't think he will, because it's going to be a Vance ticket.
Mm-hmm.
If he does go, it's going to be as a VP pick.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think this Doge aspect is going to hurt his political career enough to where he won't even be a pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I personally, I love the whole concept of Doge.
Oh, me too.
We need to cut as much out of our government as possible to keep it functional and to help Americans and to cut our budget.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great idea, but politically, I think it's going to be a nightmare for Vivek, and I think it's going to hurt the Musk-Trump relationship.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I if you noticed, he kind of got in a little bit of some hot water the last day or two regarding the H-1B1 or H-1B. Is that right? H-1B visas, right? That's what and that is they're trying to get highly skilled laborers to come to America, primarily in the tech industry.
Mm-hmm.
And Vivek, his argument was for, well, Trump in the past has been against H-1B visas, which I think he's right on. But I guess they got to him a little bit, and Trump changed his mind, and so he is for H-1B visas.
Now, why was Trump against them to begin with?
Because he believes that the highly skilled labor is here, and we don't need to look elsewhere. And the issue is too, which I think is the big problem here, is that they're not hiring white males any longer.
Yeah.
And that should not be an issue. And that may sound a little controversial, but it's the truth. And that is one thing that we're going to talk about, regardless if it's controversial or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it the truth? And so the truth is that if you are a white male, the odds are against you when it comes, especially in the tech
100%.
industry,
100%. And not just the tech industry.
Right.
I mean, you go into any sort of, you want to become a firefighter, police officer,
Mhm.
you're automatically dropped down for being a white male.
Yep.
It goes across the board. And I don't, just because I know there will be people that feel or think this way, we're not saying that you should be hired on because you're a white male.
No.
What we believe is if you are the most skilled, you should be picked regardless of your gender, race,
Mhm.
religion, whatever. Yep. But we shouldn't be giving a head start to people just based on that either.
No, it did make, it may have made a little sense in the beginning when, especially, oh shoot, what is it called? I can't think of the exact affirmative action, right?
Yeah.
That may have made sense in the beginning whenever they were after the Civil Rights Act, and because African Americans, definitely it was hard for them to find a job that, in the 60s and 70s, but I just don't see that being an issue. I'm sure there's cases out there, but it should. What I'm trying to get at is that my whole philosophy is in line with MLK's vision, is that it's you don't judge a man on his character, or you judge it by not on the content of their skin, right? It's based on their character. And so what, just lost my train of thought.
It's all right. We can always edit that out.
I know, right? Merit. That's the word I was looking for. So I care about if you're going to get a job, if you are the person hired for the job, it should be based on merit. What do you offer that is more competitive than the other candidate? It shouldn't be based on color. It should be based on your skills and what you have to offer for the company. So,
Yeah. And if I had my own company, that's 100% how I would want it to be, because I want to grow my company. The whole idea behind having a company is to make money. And if you're going to change your hiring process strictly on social ideologies, then are you even a company anymore at that point?
yeah,
Or are
exactly.
you a social activist?
Yep.
So decide what you want to be. If you want to be a company and you want to go out and make money, do that and hire the best people.
Right.
I could care less who they are, what they look like, anything like that, if they're there to make me money. And that's
Right.
the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, to backtrack to the H-1B visas, which I hope I'm labeling that correct. um, believe it's H-1B. Um, I think that's why Trump was against it in the beginning. And he may still, I don't know. I don't know exactly what his thinking is behind that. But there's a big riff right now in the MAGA world regarding the H-1B visas. So whether that has what that's going to look like, I know Elon was pretty frustrated. He, sent out a couple tweets, or do we call them tweets now? Or are they called
I
X's?
don't know what you would call those now.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, but yeah, he was pretty frustrated about it, that because he is for the H-1B visas, and he talked about that's how he was able to come to America. He was a H-1B visa,
okay.
which
But and from what I understand, just by looking that up real quick,
yeah,
the H-1B visas are temporary. They're not for permanent immigration.
right,
Now, I'm sure it can lead to that.
yeah,
That's definitely going to help your case.
yeah,
But so I can kind of see that if it's a very uh if we don't have the employees here
hmm
and
no, that makes
we
sense,
physically need more, then okay, that makes sense. But if you have the options here, we should 100% be hiring Americans first.
right, yeah,
That should be a very last option on
right,
the H-1B.
yeah, I agree. So yeah, let's transition to another topic. Are you
Uh,
ready for this one?
yeah, let's hear it.
Well, so when we left off, I talked about our long conversation we had, and we were still not done. But the very last thing we were going to talk about, then we realized, no, we better not, because we were probably going to be here for another hour or two if we do. And that was eschatology, the end times. What what do you see on the horizon? Do you think, obviously Jesus doesn't even know the exact time or day, and then what scriptures say, the Son of Man doesn't know, but only God Himself knows the time that Jesus is going to return. Um, what what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a good place to start. We don't know.
Yeah,
It's going to come like a thief in the night.
yeah.
It's going to happen when it's going to happen. Uh,
What about the signs? Are you noticing any?
the signs are what makes it hard,
Mhm.
is because they say there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. There's going to be earthquakes. There's going to be all these signs,
Yeah.
but they're signs that we've all been seeing for my whole life. They've been
Hmm.
coming up and generations before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every 10 to 15 years, you have somebody else coming out and saying, "Oh, that May 12th is going to be the last day. Get your affairs in order."
Hmm.
And of course, it never happens. So I don't know. It's really hard to read the signs. I do see things getting a little crazier. It seems like, uh, but I'm not smart enough to come out and say, "Yeah, it's going to happen within my lifetime, or it's going to happen within the next 50 years, or whatever."
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah, I was just curious on that. I I actually have a prediction.
uh-oh.
Yeah. Probably next week.
Mm.
Yeah. Jesus coming back.
I mean, I would say you're probably as close on your guess as anybody else is.
Yeah, true that.
Anyways, the podcast is over now because we only have a week left,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's no point in
We're
this.
done. Now, and that kind of ties in a little bit my fun prediction I had, and that was, disclosure. But you kind of tied I think our differences, which I don't have a set stance. I think if I was to pick one over the other, I think what you said is regarding extraterrestrials are actually demons and angels, right? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah, yeah, I think they're spiritual beings. So
Spiritual
yeah,
beings,
it would
okay,
be.
okay. And so, if that's the case, then that I think that would have for sure some kind of effect on Christ's return,
Yeah,
and that this is something. This whole the whole drone story in general, I feel like is being underplayed so much. I don't feel like, and maybe that's on purpose. I don't know.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think that definitely that could have some kind of connection with Christ's return. Who
And it
knows?
could.
You know.
Did you see that video of the drone? I'm sorry, not the drone, the orb uh, that was in the sky, and the lady started talking to it.
Oh, when she said
And
Jesus loves you or something like that.
yeah, yeah, she said, "Do you know God?" And then it started reacting.
Yeah.
And then every time she would mention Jesus or God, it would react,
Yeah.
but it would do nothing beforehand before she mentioned
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was wild. I mean, that
Yeah.
to me played even more into them being some sort of spiritual being, spiritual portal,
Right.
something of that sort. Uh, to have no reaction and then react to that,
Yeah.
just wild to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. So, okay, let me ask you this. Do you think, let's say we have definitive proof that these beings are not spiritual in nature and they're actually extraterrestrial. Would that have any effect on your faith, on the faith in general when it comes to Christianity? Do you think that would how would that where does Christianity fit into that if without a doubt we have proof just for argument's sake that these beings are from a different planet?
Okay, well, and I will it have an effect on Christianity in general? Absolutely,
Mhm.
because everybody's beliefs are different. Even within
Mhm.
Christianity, everybody has different thought processes and beliefs on that.
Yeah.
So 100%, there's going to be some fluctuation in there. For mine spirit or for my faith in personally, it won't affect it at all. I don't. I don't personally believe that there are extraterrestrial aliens. I
Right.
feel like we are it.
Yep.
There are spiritual beings. At the same time, I'm not going to limit my God. Could he have made other planets with other beings on it? Absolutely.
Mm.
So if they show up and that is the case, it's not going to affect my faith because I believe he could have.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that's what happened.
Right.
But I've been wrong on a lot of things, but it's not going to affect my faith at all.
Okay. No.
There will be a big shift and upset in the Christian community, I think, though.
Yeah. No, I think it in some way would have a pretty dramatic fate to all faiths.
Yeah, to all. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but no, to me personally, I don't see how it would have any. Now, definitely, I would definitely have a different perception of God in general. Like, I would have questions
Yeah.
that probably wouldn't have, definitive answers until I'm with Him forever.
Yeah.
But I'm ride or die Jesus. That's it.
Yeah.
Regardless. You know, if I'm wrong, it is what it is. But I bet my life on it that Christ is who He says He is. So that regardless of what is exposed or revealed, that won't have um, any change on my faith. Uh, it wouldn't. It's not going to change my mind and think, oh, we have ETs now. I don't believe in
Time to
Jesus.
give it up. Time
That's
to be
not what.
agnostic.
That's not going to happen
Yeah.
at all. It's definitely going to change everybody's perception of reality.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know, um, regardless if it's demons or ETs.
Yeah.
It's going to change everybody's perspective on reality.
Well, and that goes into say they do come down. Say it is ETs,
Hmm.
and they come down, and there is definitive proof that they're ETs,
Yeah.
and we're able to communicate with them. I'd like to hear what their spiritual thoughts are.
Mm-hmm.
Do they worship a god?
Yeah.
And if they do, how does that line up with ours? Like
Mm,
that'd be interesting.
yeah.
And if they don't, I mean, I want to hear either way,
Right.
but that would, I feel like, shift. And you'd probably have a new religion start based on that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
For
mean,
sure. For sure. Now if that's one thing us humans are good about.
we're really good
Yeah,
at
we're good
that.
about creating religions. That's for sure. Um, but so as you were saying that, I was thinking. So you were talking about if we had definitive proof that the ETs came, and we'd be curious, like, do they have a religion? Maybe is it similar? Is Jesus in that?
Yeah, that's what I
Right?
would like to know too. Is Jesus in theirs?
Yeah. But what? So as you were saying that, I had this thought. Okay, it's wild. So just bear with me. So let's say, what if those ETs, right, are actually fallen angels, and they established civilizations based on, this is a working theory, so bear with me. um, but they started civilization, these fallen angels,
Hmm.
at different other planets, possibly different galaxies. That could be a explanation as well. That could, or a theory on quote unquote ETs. Well, even if they do show up, prove that they are extraterrestrial beings, they say, they show proof of their civilization. There could be an argument that, these ETs are actually fallen angels or fallen angels, which are, you know,
Yeah.
um, that was just a fun little thought I had.
Yeah. That's one to think about a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, probably wouldn't put a whole lot of thought into it until they come out. And
Right.
if that scenario actually happens,
Yeah.
uh, then the rabbit hole can have other rabbit holes.
That is true.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole idea behind these drones and these orbs in general gets a guy thinking. And
Yep.
I don't know. Me and you are both similar in the sense that our minds kind of go a little wild
Oh yeah.
on these theories, and they're not even theories that are out there. They're just in our own heads.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so there's probably not as much thought behind them because they're in our own heads as the conventional
Yeah,
conspiracy
for
theories.
sure. But they're fun.
They are fun.
You know,
We'll write a children's book one day about them.
one of these days. When we're rich and famous.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, yeah. So, what do you like? What do you have any other predictions for 2025 that you've thought of?
Um, no, not. I mean, outside of just generic stuff, like I think prices are going to come down in the grocery store. They're also going to go up for things like certain types of clothing
Hmm.
and other household goods that are made out of country.
Yeah.
Uh, but I can't really say that's a strong prediction
Right.
of my own because it seems kind of inevitable if we go through with these sanctions. I mean, that's just
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
You think? What do you think about the whole Greenland uh,
purchase.
and Panama Canal? Let me just tell you real quick what I'm thinking. I think
Okay,
these
yeah,
are he's negotiating.
yeah. I think they're
This
negotiation
I don't think he's
tactics.
serious about this. Now, if something happened and he did see an opening for that, oh, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think these are his negotiation tactics.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he is serious about
No.
it at all. It's just to get people to the table to talk.
Yeah.
And I do agree. I mean, if I made a wild claim and then it actually became a possibility for me to gain something out of it,
Yeah.
absolutely, I'm going to
Right.
take it if we can. We should.
Definitely. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
we never should have given up the Panama Canal, in my
No,
opinion.
I don't think so either. But
Um, was it done properly to begin with? No, probably not. But it was done. We had it. We shouldn't have given it
right.
up.
Yeah.
Uh, history's full of stories like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you can complain about it all you want. We were there. We took it.
For sure.
Don't give up ground though.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, if we can get it back, cool. If we can gain something because of that being a negotiating tactic, cool. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think it's probably all just negotiation tactic, but it is interesting though, isn't it? It's going to be
Yeah.
a definitely not a boring 4 years.
No, you know we're back into a Trump term because once again, things that would have never crossed anybody's mind
Yep.
are now top subjects of conversation
Yep.
just because Trump said so.
Yep. That's right.
It's
That
crazy. I
is
mean,
the beauty of the Trump presidency is that it that's what makes it kind of fun too. Is that sometimes these random ass ideas, it's like, what the freak? Where did that come from? Um, but some of those ideas turn out to be pretty decent and
they
make
could.
sense.
And
Um,
we'll probably go more in depth on a lot of those in future
yeah, for sure.
episodes. This is 100% just a ramble episode if
Yes,
you
it is.
haven't figured that out.
Yeah, we're just
But
kind of going topic to
I
topic.
do want to jump into some of those. Those get pretty fun for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, and we'll probably do a little more research beforehand so we sound more educated than we do right now.
true, true. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll so this is our first episode, right? And as you can tell, probably, we have not done any prep for this whatsoever. For one, we didn't think this was going to work out today. Didn't know if the equipment was going to work. We already had an issues with two microphones we purchased on eBay that were not very good, or just didn't have the right connections and cords to make them work. So that didn't work out. And then finally, we found an opening for today. We thought we were actually going to just put everything together. Thought it was going to take longer than it actually did. And so we had some time. I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do a video. So here we are. So we haven't had any chance whatsoever to really plan.
Yeah, we're so behind on the prepping and planning that we don't even have a name for the podcast yet. We're so behind we forgot to introduce ourselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what do you do?
Well, I'm a smart aleck by trade.
That is very true.
Currently, I do nothing because
he's a crippled right now.
I am crippled. I injured myself, so the podcast is a really good idea because I can sit here and do nothing but talk.
So you're telling me you're talented at setting?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
So outside of that, for my main job, I'm a pizza delivery boy.
buddy. So if you need pizza, call the show. Um, that was interesting. I'm hoping the sound is sounding okay because when I get closer to the
Yeah,
mic,
it sounds
it
terrible.
sounds very personal. That sounds terrible when I'm really close.
Yeah, it added a lot of
Interesting.
echo, I guess.
Oh,
I don't know. On my
okay.
end, anyways.
Did it?
It may sound great on the computer. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Okay. Um. So yeah, he's a pizza delivery guy, and I am a stripper. So there's that. Um. I think I told you guys our names. I'm Sam. This is Hesse, aka Jesse. Jesse's mom's got it going on, kind of thing.
That
Um,
was true about 40 years ago.
yeah, no, she still got it going on, in my judgment.
Well, anyways.
Anyways, hi mom. Anyways, yeah. Um, where do you want to
Well, I feel like we can go anywhere, but we definitely need to edit out the last 10 minutes.
go?
We
Yeah.
might gain like 10 listeners and then lose them all after that little
Oh gosh.
gap there.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't
Um,
it?
yeah.
Okay. Well,
I do have since we've already started the drone, UAP,
Mhm.
alien, spiritual, everything, we can kind of tie into it. And this is uh kind of a weird one, and it just kind of came to me in a dream last night.
ooh.
Uh and it's weird because it was a dream where I was aware of reality enough so that I even thought in the dream like that'd be a good topic on the podcast.
Hmm.
Uh but I lost my dad a few years ago. But in this dream, I came in and I was in a hospital room with him. He was in the hospital and I came in to visit him. And so he's alive and well, but he just had, and I'm not entirely sure, it was like a broken arm or something weird like that. Very easy fix, whatever. And so I'm in there visiting him and I'm going through the process, talking to the doctors, trying to figure out. The doctor leaves the room and then I become aware, like, no, hold on. My dad has passed on. He's not here. But he was obviously there. And so in the dream, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in a multiverse or a different, a parallel universe, I guess you would say. But I was aware of both existences at once.
Mm.
And I don't know, even this morning when I got up, I was like, oh, it's wild.
Interesting.
So I don't know. We could go into the whole parallel universe
Yeah. Yeah.
ideas, or
I've been hearing this just saying, I guess, here lately a lot. We're on a different timeline right now. And
yes,
that happened. It started the different timeline change happened when Trump, the attempted assassination attempt, right? So if you were just to back up to that moment, right? If the results would have been Trump was shot and killed, right? He actually hit him in the head, not the ear. Where would we be right now as a country, as a civilization? I think it would affect the whole world.
oh, absolutely.
And that's not just, say Trump is just that incredible, but
No, but that's a major event.
huge, right? And to think if Trump was to had died, if he was assassinated and killed, right? What would have happened?
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of theories on that. Would that have been a civil war?
Mm.
100% could see it going that
Could
way.
have, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there another candidate had he actually died then? Was there another candidate that the Republicans had that was going to be good enough to beat Kamala?
Right. Yeah, because JD Vance wasn't in the picture at that time, was he?
No, he
No.
wasn't even selected yet.
No.
As a matter of fact, a lot of people didn't know who JD Vance was at the
No.
time, so
No.
he wouldn't have been able to jump in
Mhm.
and do anything. I mean, who was our next best option?
Well, I have a strong opinion on that, but I don't think that would have this would have worked out because of the rift that happened during the primary. So for the record, I was a strong, and I still am. I think he's one of the best politicians I have ever seen in my lifetime, and probably within, you know, the last 100 years, and that's Ron DeSantis. For what he's done in Florida has been absolutely incredible. So I don't think that would have. I don't think the RNC would have done that.
I don't think so either.
I
There
don't think
was
DeSantis would
too
have wanted to do
many.
that because he's still trying to repair his. There's there's a section of MAGA that
Mhm.
really still hates him, um, which I think it's childish, but it is what it is.
See, and I don't hate him. I thought it was very idiotic for him to jump into the race.
Mm,
Uh, I just thought there was no chance it was going to be anybody but Trump,
yeah.
and I thought that was going to hurt his political career, and it has.
Oh, and it
Uh,
definitely has.
that bumped him
Yeah.
away from being a potential 2028
Hmm.
president to there's no way,
Right.
unless something terrible goes on with the Trump Vance presidency,
Yeah.
there's no way he has a chance in 2028.
No. No.
And a lot of that's because he did piss off a lot of MAGA Republicans.
Yeah.
So he'll never get their votes back.
Right.
A lot of that is because JD Vance has come out and proven to be
He's been
pretty good.
pretty good so far.
And if it goes well in this presidency, it's only going to help him.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of people that love Vivek.
Yeah.
I think he probably would have been the best option if Trump did die. I think
So
he's
you think
probably the
so?
one that would have jumped. No, I
you're a
do
big
not like Vivek at all. I think he's a snake.
Okay.
But a
I
lot of
totally
people
agree.
like him. And I think if Trump did
Hmm.
die in that assassination attempt, that it would have gone to Vivek. And I think he would have beat Kamala. But he would not have been my pick. I think he is definitely a snake.
Mm,
I don't trust him at all.
I don't either.
He's the best used car salesman I've ever seen.
I totally agree. And, you can go back to several different clips of him maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And, maybe that's not fair. People do change their minds, but he does this more than most, I feel like. And I, I'm very hopeful and um, grateful that him and Musk are working together in this whole Doge thing.
Me too. And if
I
that
have
works out,
I have
great.
hopes that he will have accountability
Yes.
because I think his heart's in the right place. I just don't think he has his whole political philosophy worked out in his mind because if you think about it, he wasn't a politician prior to this,
No.
right? He was
He was
into
CEO.
tech, wasn't he?
He was CEO of a pharmaceutical company.
Pharmaceutical company. That's right. So he was a businessman, right?
Yeah. Which is great.
Similar
That can
to
be good for the company,
like Trump.
our country.
Not a billionaire, but he was a businessman coming into this. Um, so I say that I just don't know if he has completely his issues ironed out. I think he's still growing as I do believe he's a conservative. I don't think he's some closeted liberal or anything like that.
No.
I don't think he's ironed out his convictions sincerely enough yet.
I'll agree with that. I don't think he's got himself figured out, and he's still really young
He is, yeah.
to have it all figured out.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think, even with what he has figured out, it just doesn't seem like the country, and I could be completely wrong on this, but it doesn't seem like the country's well-being is what is actually top of mind for him.
Mm. Yeah,
I think it's more of what can I do and say to build and boost my political career.
right.
And if it helps the country in the meantime, great. And he has a lot of good talking points on why things would work.
Right. Oh,
I just don't
really
trust
good
him.
talker, isn't he?
He's so good at talking. Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
You really want to like him.
Yeah.
There's just that sense,
I know.
that gut feeling that I think he would be terrible for us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I I am nervous that, which, that has changed a little bit here lately, but uh, the MAGA movement is, in some parts, they can be forgiving and forgetful of uh, issues with politicians.
Mhm.
Um, so that I feel like I was coming around on him, and I am um, more still, but um, like we mentioned earlier with the H-1B visas, I'm curious how that's gonna play out. I don't know if you've noticed any of that, but
That was the first I'd heard of it whenever
yeah,
you mentioned it earlier. So
that that's kind of in the X world in general. I don't know if it's been covered much in the media, but if you're on X and you see this whole dialogue going on with Musk and Ramaswamy and other MAGA influencers on X that are anti H-1B visa. So that was, that was it. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
yeah,
Um, so, um, but yeah, we were talking about,
we were talking about Vivek.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't exactly remember what I was going to say
that
about that, but I think
that path ended. I think. I think.
think we're done with Vivek. But yeah, to make to end that is that I don't trust him.
No, no.
So, um,
Now that we have officially gone into our spirituality and into politics, and we have lost a lot of potential listeners because they're already disagreeing with us. Anything else to weed out
I know, right?
the?
So here's the thing, guys. We're just gonna talk, and whatever comes to our mind. We're just having conversations. We're having fun. Um, our belief system, I think we're pretty similar when it comes to the core issues.
Yeah,
Uh, love Jesus, um, believe in a small,
small
efficient
government.
government,
Hmm.
you know, and but like we said at the beginning of this podcast, was that we care about the truth, number one, and if the truth is that our guys do something wrong, we're going to call them out.
Oh, 100%.
So we're not just blanket uh, pro Trump or pro MAGA. Um, I, for one, believe in a lot of the things that Trump has done and is planning on doing in his second term. I'm very hopeful, and I'm proud to be a fan of President Trump.
And that wasn't
So
always the case with you.
no, it wasn't.
You were very much against Trump in the beginning.
Yeah, from the, if we were to back up to
16,
2015, well, 2016, I guess when the primary started in 2015, right?
2015.
I was a Cruz fan, thought Trump was a complete liar, and I was basing that on the things he had done in his past. Just didn't have really. He wasn't a politician. Didn't have any record really, other than his business ventures and stuff like that. But uh, I just thought he was. I thought he was full of shit, basically, to put it bluntly. So I was pleasantly surprised. I did vote for him in 2016, reluctantly.
Yeah, you were not
I
happy
was
about
not
that.
happy. I did not think he had a shot, which I think most people didn't think he was going to win in 2016.
That's why that night was so much fun to
Oh,
watch.
it was beautiful. Even with me, like I said, I was didn't really want to vote for him, but I was shocked and hopeful that night when they did announce that he was going to be the 45th president of the United States. Um, and then the things that he did is what won me over. Um, you know, um, with immigration, with um, moving the embassy from Tel
Hmm.
Aviv to Jerusalem, I don't think a lot of people understand why that is such a big deal, because prior presidents had always made that promise, that they were going to do that, but they never did that. Bush made that promise.
Clinton made that
Clinton
promise.
made that promise. I don't know if Obama did or not.
I
But
believe he did,
did he? Okay.
and we can fact check that,
Yeah.
but I believe he did.
But that was something, and even and when I guess you would call them the deep state, they tried very hard to prevent him from doing that. But Trump was very adamant on that, and moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So that, and then you have the Abraham Accords, which blew my mind. You have Saudi Arabia and Israel coming together.
Yeah.
That's
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So the economy was doing great. It wasn't until COVID. COVID made me very angry with Trump again.
I wasn't very happy with the way he handled that myself.
Yeah. And I still wish he would come out more against the vaccine. He's still pretty proud of the vaccine that he helped start with Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah.
But that's a different story. But overall, I just care about the country. I love my country, and just want it to be number one in the president's heart. That has not been the case for Biden the last 4 years. But I don't think he has anything in his heart other than ice cream. So, I don't think he really knows what's going on half the time. But anyways, yeah.
And that's been that way for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely a Trump supporter. I'm very excited about the next 4 years. Very hopeful. I think I'm much more hopeful. I don't think I've been this hopeful for just a new administration in my lifetime. I know I haven't, actually, and I think he has the potential to bring about some dramatic change if he will continue to be bold and not listen to the BS. So
I agree.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of Sam's intro to it. Hey, starting out very much against Trump, has very much shifted. But again, that's him. He just wants the best for the country. That's all I want too. I'm also not a Republican.
Neither am I.
I lean very much more towards the libertarian side of things. I don't want a libertarian for president necessarily.
Right.
Not that would happen. I don't think they've ever even had a candidate that was worth running, but
yeah.
The Republican side leans more towards what I believe than the Democrat side does. So that's why I go there. Unfortunately, we're stuck in a two-party system.
Yeah.
So that's where we have to go. And there's a lot of policies that come from the Republicans that I'm very much against. That is part of the reason that I am so hopeful for this Trump presidency, is because he's putting such an emphasis on restricting and lowering the size of government, which has always been one of my biggest issues with our government.
Yeah.
Is the sheer size of it. You cannot have freedom in that much regulation and that much, that many. Well, the word will come to me after the podcast ends, but with that many agencies above us,
yeah,
and
or the agencies we don't know about, right?
Yeah, the ones we don't know about, the ones we do know about that get to make rules that we didn't pick them to make rules and laws. And we'll dig into the Chevron deference at some point too. But what a beautiful ruling on that.
Yeah.
We can go deeper on that in some episode.
For sure.
That'll be a 6-hour episode.
6 hours.
Yeah.
A 6-hour tour.
I don't know that one.
I don't know either. I was thinking of
I was waiting for
the 2-hour tour, or what was the Gillian's Island? A 3-hour tour, wasn't it?
Sure,
a 3-hour No. Okay.
You're
Yeah.
a little bit older than me. I remember watching that, but it was more of a background show
Yeah.
that the older
Yeah.
folks were watching.
Sorry to interrupt you on that
Uh,
one. Go ahead.
I mean,
You were
it
talking about
sounded
what you're.
sensual though, so
It was all for you, darling.
I'm interested.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean that. I think we are. So Jesse and I, we have known each other since
Shoot,
2006.
2006 ish. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yep, it would be January 2006.
yeah. Yeah. And so we probably have more than common than we would like. it's almost it's almost scary at times. Like there for a while when we were getting to know each other, it's like, what? You mean you wear your underwear backwards too? What? You know, and
Only
things
on
like
wash
that.
day.
Only on wash days. So, but when it comes to, like I said, core issues, I don't think we really have any strong disagreement when it comes to really big issues that matter. When it, like, for example, um, abortion.
We have some disagreement there.
We did, not anymore.
Did oh,
In fact, I
did
may
you
be
come to my
even
side?
more hard than you are. I don't know.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah. No, I don't believe any. There's not one case that
that's
abortion should happen.
welcome to my side, buddy.
No, I think we had that argument in Austin. I remember that. That was back
Yeah,
in 2000. And we lived in Austin from 2009 to 2011.
you're giving them too much information now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. You just wait till I tell them later.
Yeah,
Tell them
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Start posting pictures.
Mm-hmm. I think I was going through trying to be a little more moderate in some. Austin does some weird stuff to your mind. Do you remember having that conversation? Like there was some kind of, or at least, did I have this conversation with you? Where you just felt like there was some kind of darkness in that
Yeah,
town. You did not explain it, put your finger on it, but there was some kind of darkness that just hovered. And what I'm getting at is that I feel like I was trying to be more moderate because of the culture and friends we were hanging around with in Austin at the time. And so I kind of leaned that way. But then I didn't give it much thought either. But now that I've had a lot more time to think and make sense of it, you either I'm pretty strong on that. You're either a murderer, you murder the baby or not. I don't
yeah.
think abortion should be even a term. It's either murder or not murder. Now, I'm not trying to be inconsiderate. I know there's cases out there that are definitely hard, but you just can't make that argument to spare someone's life by ending someone's life. But anyways, that's
We can go on that road in an
yeah,
episode as
that's
well. I mean, two wrongs don't make a right.
exactly.
Uh,
Um, so what I was getting at is I think that was probably the biggest disagreement we had.
I
But
will say,
this was almost 15 years ago, you know?
could not.
So I don't, other than, I think when it comes to the ET subject or, aliens versus demons or just spiritual beings, I think we're maybe a little different on that.
Yeah, you lean
Yeah.
more towards the idea of there being
Yeah.
ETs.
Yes.
Again, I don't discount that. I just
Right.
don't believe it.
Sure.
But
And it's the same thing for when it comes to the demon being.
yeah,
These are actually demons. I don't discount that at all. I actually think that's a logical explanation
yeah.
for sure.
But and again, that's one of those things that we have a slight difference of opinion on.
Right.
But it's nothing major that's gonna.
Yeah. No.
I mean, we might get in a fist fight or two about it, but that's purely for y'all's entertainment.
That is true. But we once got in a fist fight over our favorite Skittle. You liked the lime, and I liked the purple grape one. And
Yeah, he liked it so much he forgot the flavor.
yeah.
See, here we go.
There you go. Bastard.
They're all the same on the inside.
So yeah, we are getting up to basically almost, this is about an hour's worth.
Really?
So, yeah. So
that's really not that bad. You figure in 3 weeks
Yeah.
of trying to figure out how to set up a system to record.
right. Yeah. And
And then you get a whole hour of nonsensical conversation. That's,
right.
It's pretty good, really.
For sure. But okay, let's just reflect on this real quick for our vast audience out there,
Yeah.
right? I started getting a little more comfortable probably maybe 15, 20 minutes into it. Just so you guys know, before we started recording, we were like, I'm actually kind of a little nervous. Wasn't expecting to be a little nervous to, record us talking. We're just having a conversation. We talk all the time. But it was a little intimidating once we had everything set up and the microphones in our face. It was kind of, I got a little nervous, but maybe the first 15, 20 minutes, and then started getting a little more comfortable and just not worrying about having the perfect thing to say, and just have a conversation, just have fun. And I started getting a little more comfortable. So that's how I would reflect on that first episode. There was some, I'm sure there's some dumb things we've said and some things that, if you fact check, they're probably wrong. So that is kind of, that's how our show is going to be, guys, where we have some strong beliefs, and we also just like to talk about fun subjects, and we may not have all the information on that subject at the time. But we're just going to, whatever comes to our head, we're going to say it. So we'd love for you to kind of stick around and listen to us and have fun with us.
And if you have any ideas for topics that y'all want to hear about, throw a comment in there.
That's right.
Let us know.
Yeah.
We will, hopefully for y'all's sake, have more research and a better plan on these next couple of episodes. This is an introduction and a title. Just an introduction to kind of who we are and where we stand. Great that we kind of got some of this stuff out in the beginning, because some of y'all just may go ahead and decide we don't want to listen to these weirdos.
Yeah.
Some of you might think we all have something common with us.
Yeah.
So cool. Come hang out with us. And if you want, I'll tell you his address and you can swing by.
This guy. So yeah, I mean, the goal is to just have fun. And if we get a couple listeners that want to listen, great. Have fun with us. And I mean, I think that pretty much wraps it up for today, unless you have something else what are you thinking?
No, I think that pretty well does it. We'll get this figured out and just try to be a little bit stronger for episode 2. Thank you all for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content, and leave a comment if you have any topic you would like for us to cover. Have a great day.
Mine's always drifting somewhere out there. Questions lost, floating in the air. Thoughts like whispers calling me near. Visions blurry but crystal clear. Wandering mind, never quite still. Chasing shadows, climbing